Peace, peace, peace. This is your boy Tony Monix. I bet y'all thought I was about to start rapping, but I'm not. Not today. Welcome this edition of the newly formed Tony's Thoughts. So this is just a little quick spiel I'll be giving from time to time, 5 to 10 minutes of what I'm thinking, which will usually be pretty much at the time, or maybe sometimes throughout the day. Today I want to talk about something that's real heavy for me, and something I do think about this a lot. Doing the knowledge, right? Knowledge versus belief. I'm not the first person to deal with this. I'm not the last person. I won't be the last person to deal with it, but let's go over it. Doing the knowledge. I'm in my setting. I kind of like my setting because you hear people. You probably hear a little noise. That's people in the background. I kind of dig it because it's real. I'm not always going to be in some quiet place. I don't feel the need to be in a quiet place, and I'm in that atmosphere that I like. So let's get into it. Knowledge. To have knowledge is to have looked, learned, listened, and observed. A belief is something that is accepted as true, right? But not really having observed that thing for yourself. Doing the knowledge, meaning getting knowledge or studying or researching something, is very important because it keeps you from taking things at face value. You don't want to take anything at face value. Anything at face value. Everything and everybody is up for examination, right? They should be. Oftentimes we get sidetracked from that thought process when it comes to things like religion or something our favorite author said, or if we respect the guy, he said it, so it's right. No, everybody's up for examination at all times. Even if you trust them, sometimes you have to check that trust every now and then. Not test them, but you just need to always be on guard. And when I say on guard, I don't mean like for real, like have your guards up all the time. Like don't let anybody in. I'm just saying be aware. Knowledge your cipher, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Understand your atmosphere. Situational awareness. Understand what's going around you. If you're not doing the knowledge to a situation, then you won't understand what's going on around you. You won't have situational awareness. If you believe everything that everybody tells you, that's what you fall into, and then now people disappoint you. If you're always trying to knowledge your cipher or understand your atmosphere or have situational awareness, over time, after doing that knowledge, after putting that knowledge in motion concerning that atmosphere, you now have wisdom, right? You're able to use wisdom now because wisdom is knowledge in motion. You're using that knowledge to better navigate your situation, right? That's what wisdom is all about. That's what wisdom is, really, right? Navigating your situation. So now after you're able to navigate your situation, you'll have an understanding of what's going on. And already having that understanding, having practiced that wisdom, you know what I mean? You can now make better decisions. You can play chess. You're an experienced chess player now when you have understanding. When I'm on a basketball court, if I have an understanding of myself, for one, if I have an understanding of what I can do, and if I've studied and did the knowledge to how this defense works, I can now play chess because now I can be a few moves ahead. If I already know that I can drive past this guy, and I got a team, right, 5-on-5. If I already know I can drive past this guy, when I get to the middle of the lane, I'm already moves ahead. So now I'm already knowing that I'm going to do one of 2 or 3 things. I'm going to do this floater, stop and pop for a little pull-up jumper, or I'm going to pass it. Excuse me, that's my laptop. You know what I mean? I already have an idea what I'm going to do. I can move ahead of the game. I can predict the future, so to speak. Sometimes my prediction may be a little off, but that's the human part of us. We have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Let's go to another aspect. Excuse me if I sound like I'm picking on religion, but religion makes it easy for you sometimes. A pastor, an imam, or a rabbi could tell me anything they want if I don't research. There are quotes in the church that I've heard that make people think that it's one verse, right? But when you actually research the scriptures, it's two different verses, taken totally out of context. You understand what I mean? The worst thing to me that can happen for people who don't research is you never develop your own understanding. Or even if you do, you're not comfortable with it. Now you're working off somebody else's understanding. It's kind of like that feeling you get when you realize that you being content working a job, and I'm not saying that a job is not necessary, but you being content just working at a job, you are now the fuel for somebody else's ambition. And you're not even trying to be the fuel for your own ambition. That kind of sucks. You know what I mean? That kind of sucks. So let me take it to a book from one of my favorite authors, right? Supreme Understanding. I'm not going to say it's government because that's not what he goes by. So if you'll just give me a second, because he did a piece on something called belief versus knowledge. And it actually wasn't Supreme Understanding that wrote what I'm about to read per se, but he was just one of the guys who wrote the book. This is by a brother who goes by the name of CBS Life Allah. So here we go. Give me a second. Belief can give you a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, yet it isn't something that you should trust with any aspect of your life. It isn't something you should trust any aspect of your life with. He said, for example, as youth, many of us were fed a belief in Santa Claus, and now that we're older, we know that it was taught in order to encourage good behavior during the winter season, and was then verified by the miraculous appearance of presents on Christmas Day. Belief is simply the acceptance of some statement or explanation without any requirement for proof. You see that? Now, there are benefits to belief, right? There are lessons, right, in the scriptures, in the Quran, whatever, the Rig Veda, the Book of the Dead, and Kemetic thought, or the Per Em Haru, if I said that. Hopefully I said that right. There's benefits, like I read the Bible and I can pull wisdom out of a lot of stuff in the Bible that the conventional thought process wouldn't really pull the wisdom out. They just literally believe it, like Moses parted the Red Sea, or God came down and told Moses to kill all the people along the way in their route to Israel. There's wisdom to pull from these stories, right? You remember Aesop's fable is older than the Bible, and there have been emperors and kings and chiefs of tribes that have benefited from these stories in their leadership. So my thing is, let's just understand the difference between belief and knowledge. Is belief, you want to pull the lessons out of beliefs, right? I believe out of the stories that come from belief systems. You want to learn the difference between mythos. The word myth comes from the word mythos. Mythos is not a bad thing. It's just saying that the story is symbolic and there's a lesson in it. And knowledge is based and rooted in facts, right? Knowledge is pretty much data that, from conclusions that have been drawn up knowledge is a conclusion that has been drawn up as such by the testing of data. You feel me? So, I just really wanted to drop that. Put that in your spirit, your soul, your mind, wherever it can land. You dig? So, Peace. Welcome to Tony's Thoughts. More to come. I'm out.
Nigga, why you acting like a hoe? Know that